Hello, Interpeas. Good evening and welcome to Trivia. I hope you had a great weekend. Kitiku, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Lemon Pie, the Morgan, good evening and welcome to Trivia Night. I hope you both had a pleasant weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone. Tomorrow is Monday, Memorial Day, for those who are here in America. Sal is here. Good evening, Sal. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope you had a pleasant weekend, Sal. Rackart. Rackart is here. Hello, Will and Gang. This is Rackart and Gianna Marie. Welcome to both of you to Trivia Night. I hope you had a great weekend. Pleasant Memorial Day weekend if you're celebrating it. Give it a couple more minutes here and then we'll get this started. Well, good, Sal. Glad you had a great weekend. Hope the weather has cooperated with everyone. And Cement Shoes is here. Good evening, Cement Shoes. One more minute until we get going. Now that I look at the clock. I hope you had a great weekend, Cement Shoes. And happy Memorial Day weekend. If you celebrated it. All the questions tonight are on 4 different killers, 4 different serial killers. Call them the quad killers. Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ed Kemper, and Israel Keys. Your job tonight is to match the actual question to it. Every single A, B, and C and D is the same. You have to match the actual question to the answer just like normally, but all the options are the same for all 20 questions. Thought you were supposed to be in your living room. I was going to, Kitiku, but I convinced my daughter to come over to my house and sit on her brother. Not literally sit on him, but to hang out with him while I do this. He's been a little too rambunctious and he's playing music in my living room. And I didn't want to get the copyright claim because of even ambient music that can be copyrighted. YouTube will copyright it, and then I'll lose my 19 cents that I make on each one of these. Left-handed RN is here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this going. And welcome to tonight's trivia, Left-handed RN. And I hope you had a pleasant weekend and a happy Memorial Day weekend to you. All right, this is trivia night number 309, ladies and gentlemen. Viewer discretion is strongly advised for the content you may see or hear on this channel tonight. All this content is marked on YouTube for 16 years of age or over. Anyone who's under the age of 16 who may see it now or in rewind later on, if they're doing so, is because they cheated the system, not because I didn't mark it clearly on YouTube. So it's on them. Tonight, all the trivia questions have the same answers. A is going to be for Jeffrey Dahmer. B is for Ted Bundy. C is for Israel Keys. And D is for Ed Kemper. Your job is to match the question to the actual answer. And of course, obviously, people are going to guess their E's, or whatever. Today is your 46th wedding anniversary. Well, happy anniversary to you, Lieutenant RN. Congratulations to you. 46 years. Well, here's to 46 more happy years, Lieutenant RN. Question number 1 is now on your screen. I got to get rid of this scroll here. Hold on a second, because that's going to be an issue. There we go. All right. I was arrested in Lufkin, Texas on murder charges. Later in an interview with state police, I complained the food sucked in Lufkin, Texas, but the staff was nice. Who is this? Is it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? Which one was arrested in Lufkin, Texas and complained that the food sucked, but the staff was nice? Will in his little window. Hello. Do the wrist, elbow, wrist. Wrist, elbow, wrist. Interpeas is going with Elvis. And good evening, friendly talker, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a pleasant weekend, and happy Memorial Day to you and to yours. Interpeas is going with Elvis for Lufkin, Texas. Pippadot, good evening. Says, I will, and Interpeas, I'm so sorry I can't do tonight's trivia. I had to go to the hospital for some things. Been going through. The doctor is here now, but I am hoping I can get on next week. All right, Pippadot, well, you take care, sweetheart, and we'll see you again soon. And I hope everything, gets better for you. Who was arrested in Lufkin, Texas, and complained that the food sucked, but the staff was nice? Question number 1 of 20. And smoke them if you got them. Smoke them if you got them. All right, question number 1. The correct answer for number 1 is C as in cat, Israel Keys. In the interview with state police, he went on a 10-minute tirade about how awful the food was in Lufkin, Texas, in the correction center there. But he said that everyone who was there in charge, guards, and other police officers and anyone else that he had any interactions with were very nice to him. They were very pleasant individuals, and he found that kind of strange that everyone there was so nice, especially in light of all the charges that he had pending against him. But the food sucked, and the staff was nice. Question number 1 was C, Israel Keys. Question number 2. I was born to an alcoholic mother and father who hardly ever showed me any love or affection on December 18th, 1948. Who is this? Is it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? Born to alcoholic mother and father who showed him hardly any love or affection. Sounds like a country song. The food sucked and the staff was nice. Got to play it backwards, get your dog and your truck back. Cement shoes going with B, lemon pie, A, Kitty Q, D, Sal, D, Morgan, D, Tiana Marie, and Reichart are both going with D as well. For question number 2, Lieutenant RN, D as well. B, the feud. I was born to an alcoholic mother and father who hardly ever showed me any love or affection on December 18th, 1948. Almost a Christmas baby. Just a wee little one for Christmas. Question number 2 of 20. Friendly talker, no idea, so B. All right. Question number 2. The correct answer is D as in dog. Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper's mother and father were both alcoholics. And it was the main reason why that Ed Kemper's father would eventually leave, because it was such a destructive environment for not only, Ed, but for the rest of the family. Hi, we'll be right back in a minute. I just realized that my trash can is on fire. I have to take care of that. See? Ooh boy. I noticed it was getting a little smoky in here. And I'm like, what the hell? And I looked over and I see smoke just billowing out of the trash can. Yeah, I emptied the ashtray, but I forgot there was probably a cigarette in there still that was lit. Try to burn the whole place down. Gonna have to put up with the fan here for a little bit so I can blow the smoke out. I got the door open. That's why it's so hazy. Whew. Okay, let's go back to the questions now that we put out the fire. We didn't start the fire. Fire was always burning. As the world turned. Ukraine mode is activated. Yeah. All right. So question number 2 was Ed Kemper. Question number 3 is now on the screen. Twisted and as perverted as it may seem, I got great pleasure about talking about my crimes. I got to relive them over and over again. Who is this? Is it A, Dahmer, B, Bundy, C, Keys, or D, Kemper? Jude, welcome to tonight's trivia, Jude. Turn that fan a little bit. I'm sorry if you guys hear a wind noise. I hope you had a pleasant weekend and happy Memorial Day weekend to you, Jude, and to yours. Question number 3 of 20. Twisted and as perverted as it may seem, I got great pleasure out of talking about my crimes. I got to relive them over and over again. Who is this? Lemon Pie is going with Alex Baldwin. John Marie's going with B, the Morgan. It's either B or C. With Which one got a perverted pleasure out of talking about his crimes over and over again? Question number 3. The correct answer is B as in boy. Kitty coo at the end there for the correct answer. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy loved to talk about the crimes that he committed and each and every one of the victims except for his last one. And he would talk about them with just about anybody who came to sit and talk with him. Because he got a pleasure out of reliving each and every one of the crimes, one by one. But Ted had a thing about when people would sit down and talk to him about the crimes, he would not allow them to interrupt him. He wanted to just kind of let it go and free flow talk about each and every aspect. The abduction, the murder, the torture, how he killed them, where he dumped them, how he came back to them, how he maybe dismembered them, removed their head. He wanted to talk about every single part of it, and he wanted to do it in his own time frame. So one victim could take 2 hours, or he could narrow it down into a 10-minute conversation. He would just kind of give you the highlights of it, and then the next one, or maybe 2 more down the road, he'd start talking about in great lengths and reliving that crime all over again. But it had to be on his terms and in his way. All right, question number 4. Turn the fan off there. All right. My 5th run-in with the law finally got me my first criminal charge, which got me 5 years of probation. If they only knew what I had done to that point. Who is this? Is it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? There's a story about a man named Bundy. He had Dahmer and then Keys, and then Kemper and Bundy, and we are all Bundy Bunch. It's a Bundy Bunch, Bundy Bunch, and that's how we all became the Bundy Bunch. Dun, dun, dun. Question number 4. My 5th run-in with the law finally got me my first criminal charge, which got me 5 years of probation. They only knew what I had done to that point. Question number 4. Morgan, Sal are going with A, along with Gianna Marie and Rycart. Kitty Q's going with A, and Lieutenant RN are going with A as well. Cement Shoes and Lemon Pie are the outliers with C and D. Ooh, Inner Peace is going with E. It was Trump. 5th run-in with the law. Question number 4 of 20. Alrighty then. The correct answer for question number 4 is A as in apple. Jeffrey Dahmer. His 5th run-in with the law finally got him his first criminal conviction, and he got 5 years of probation. The other times that he had interaction with law enforcement was for consumption of alcohol and other little petty things where they didn't arrest him for it. But on his 5th time, he finally caught a criminal charge on the 5th time. But at that point, he had already committed a whole series of felonies, but they didn't know about him when he was finally charged with his first felony. All right, question number 5. Everywhere I traveled didn't matter if it was only to the store for a soda I carried an ice pick with me and gloves in the glove box. Who always traveled everywhere with an ice pick and gloves in the glove box? Was it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? The Morgan's going with B, and so is Kitty Q. Everywhere I traveled, didn't matter if it was to the store for a soda, I carried an ice pick and a pair of gloves. Talk about a killer that was always ready. Rock Car's going with B, and Meep is here. Meep. Good evening, Meep, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and a happy Memorial Day weekend for you and your family. Lemon Pie is going with D. Gianna Marie is going with B as well. Barry freaking Morphew. Barry Morphew. I watched the thing on, was it Law and Court or Court and Law or whatever the hell is that show on you can watch it on YouTube. It's also in syndication. They're talking about the chances of them ever prosecuting Barry Morphew for Suzanne's death, even if there was new evidence that was found that can link him to the actual case itself, and her remains. That the likelihood is that they would never be able to prosecute him because a lot of the evidence that was entered into the first trial that they ended up having to drop would be couldn't be used against him, or it'd be hard for them unless they were able to prove how that stuff got there in another circumstances. They'd have to we have to prove where he bought the tranquilizer dart, not just that we found a cap to a tranquilizer dart. That's circumstantial. We have to prove that somebody sold him the tranquilizer darts, and they'd have to make the connection for that piece of evidence in another way, and along with anything else that they may have collected up there. And then there's the DNA that was found in the vehicle and everything else. They went through the entire thing, and they're like, it doesn't look like that if they do ever file charges against Barry Morphew that he'll ever be prosecuted for it. So was I. I think pretty much we're all hoping for an arrest and a trial for him. Right, Cart. He was being a safe driver. All right, question number 5. The correct answer is B as in boy. Ted Bundy. It was part of his overall murder kit. Besides, he didn't always travel with multiple stocking caps, but he always had, part of his murder kit was rope, stocking cap, ice pick, gloves, and these were part of his murder kit, if you will. But he always carried an ice pick and gloves in the glove box of his Super Beetle, his Volkswagen Beetle. Will, have you covered Andrew Cunningham? No, I haven't. But I'm going to write it down, though. Thank you for the idea, the Morgan. Andrew. It's in my little book. All right, question number 6. I'm not sure why anyone would be afraid of me. I'm soft-spoken, gentle, and very respectful. No need to have ever feared me. Who said this? Was it Dahmer, Bundy, Keys, or Kemper? I nominate Elliot Rowers. Rowers? Elliot Rowers. Do I have that one down here already? Looking back though, I wrote it down again. Cement shoes, but no, I don't have it in here, but I do now. Kid Q is going with C double question mark. Ooh, that's a double question mark. Yes, there, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 6. I'm not sure why anyone would be afraid of me. I'm soft spoken, gentle, and very respectful. No need to have ever feared me. My lemon pie. Michael Dukakis. Oh boy, we're showing our age there. If anybody remembers who Michael Dukakis is. I just misspelled his name on YouTube, automatically deletes it. Dukakis. Or Elliot Rohers. Says the Morgan. It was OJ. Juicy Jules. Welcome, Juicy Jules, to Trivia Night. I hope you had a great weekend and a happy Memorial Day weekend if you celebrate it for you. We are question number 6, and you're going with D. Question number 6, the correct answer is C, as in cat. Israel Keys. As part of his interview with the state police in Texas, he said the following: I'm not sure why anyone was afraid of me. I'm soft spoken, gentle, and very respectful. There was no need to have ever feared me. Well, I don't know, Israel. Maybe because they feared you because you're a serial killer, you idiot. But he said that to the state police. You can actually request the for free through the Freedom of Information Act. You can get a copy of that if you contact the state of Texas Highway Patrol Division. There, you can actually print it off. They give you a link. You can print it off online yourself if you have a printer. Well, for the 10th anniversary of ER's crimes was a few days ago. He was in cell. Really? Was Israel Keys a pastor? No, but he was religious. He grew up Christian fundamentalist. A section of the Mormon fundamentalist movement when he was younger, and then they broke off from that. His family did. They moved away, and then they became Baptists for a while. Then what they call it, the New Church of Catholicism or something like that. It's what the family started following after that. But no, he was not an actual preacher. You had to misspell that too. Incel. All right, question number 7. I only dislike others. I never said I hated anyone but my mother. She deserved everything that came to her in the end. I hated her in the end, and she got hers. Who said this? Was it Dahmer, Bundy, Keys, or Kemper? You don't know about which one, meet Dahmer, Bundy, Keys, or Kemper? After my Pope answered yes. He has to because if you spell some words correctly, that they automatically get blocked. It's not me. It's YouTube. Oh, you don't know much about Israel Keys? Well, in a minute, I'll show you exactly how many of the Menendez brothers. Morgan, I have the Menendez brothers on here on my list. Thank you for the suggestion. I have covered the Menendez brothers before, Eric and Lyle, but I definitely have them on the list. They are a month ago. They were suggested again right after Darla Rotier and Darla Di Pola. Ian Brady is on here as well. Grim Sleeper I've already done, but all right. I only dislike others and never said that I hated anyone but my mother. She deserved everything that came to her in the end. I hated her in the end and she got hers. Who said this? Question number 7. The correct answer is D as in dog. Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper said that about after he confessed to the murder of his mother. Question number 8. Oh, first off, here is the official body count according to the FBI. Now, depending upon where you look online, let's just say, for instance, take Wikipedia for instance, which is not 100% accurate, but according to the FBI database, these are the actual body counts, which is the kill number for each one of these 4 guys. Bundy, that FBI says killed 30. Israel Keys, 11. Kemper, 8. And Dahmer, 17. I personally think the number for Kemper is off because 4 of them would be his own family. Paternal grandmother, paternal grandfather, mother, the 3 right there. I think he killed his aunt, or maybe she wasn't really related, but that would be 3 out of 8 would be his own family. All right. Question number 8. The greatest influence on this killer was his grandfather, yet he wasn't exactly a decent role model. He was filled with rage and anger and kept a private life, a double life. Who was this? Was it Dahmer, Bundy, Keys, or Kemper? Kemper killed 10. Sal, I think the actual real number when it comes to Kemper is closer to 14 to 16, somewhere in there, because he was the co-ed killer. And I think that even though they said he only killed, I believe, 5 co-eds, I think that his body count of actual murders of women who disappeared in and around the San Francisco Bay Area, I think that because he traveled so much around that area because of work and where he went to find his victims, I think his victim count is a lot higher. But that the FBI believes that that's what they going through the FBI and actually looking at their database, that's what they say the number is for him. Also, I think that Bundy's number is a little low. I would put that at maybe at 32 or 33, because I highly doubt that he went all the way from the Utah area, Colorado area, all the way to Miami, and he didn't commit some more murders in there. But I'm not the FBI, so that's what their total is for him. Inner P's. Yeah, going with E. Al Pacino. I think they're all wrong and higher, says Kitty Q. I know for quite a while they were still trying to add victims to Israel Keys. I think that most of the ones that they believe that he may have been involved in, they that never were able to put enough circumstantial evidence or evidence together to say that Israel Keys killed him. So Lemon Pie is going with Dahmer on this one. Sal's going with B, a Bundy. QQ, I say 144,000. These four bunch have the same type of stare. Now, what was it? The Texas Ranger who talked to Israel Keys said that he had a stare that could go for 1,000 miles. That there was nothing there. It was like looking through to a void. That there was nothing behind his eyes at all. All right, question number 8. The correct answer is B as in boy, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's grandfather was a pastor, a deacon at one point in his church. And he also, according to Bundy and somewhat has been substantiated by other family members, that his grandfather kind of lived a double life where he also was heavily into pornography, and not just normal pornography, but hardcore, bondage, type of pornography, and that he may have introduced Ted Bundy to it. Now that part of it comes directly from Ted. Is that true? I don't know. I mean, that's up for speculation. But his grandfather definitely lived a double life because he was a gentle, soft-spoken individual around the family and the parishioners of the church until he got into this rage and anger that just seemed to overtake him. Just like what would eventually would happen with Bundy. Bundy was soft-spoken and well put together, and had seemed to have all of his ducks lined up, and then the rage and anger would overtake him. He learned that was that a learned behavior that he learned from his grandfather, because his grandfather was more of like a father figure to him than his adoptive father, who eventually, is where Bundy gets the last name. All right, question number 9. From a very young age, this killer was interested in the natural world, plants and animals, yet he couldn't escape the demons inside of him that made him question who he was. Who was this? Was this A, Dahmer, B, Bundy, C, Keys, or D, Kemper? Juicy Jules go with C. Or was that for the last one? Morgan, Lieutenant RN, and Meep are going with A so far. Kitty Q, A, question mark. Sal, A, and Gianna Marie, A. The Morgan, the Tiger King. Is he alive? Still in prison? Him and his mullet, are they still in prison? Rock Car going with A as well. Did you guys know that there are more lions? I mean, not lions, but more tigers and lions. The two of them, two species, lions and tigers. There are more lions and tigers in the state of Texas that are held in private hands than there are anywhere else in the world. Lions and tigers in the state of Texas that are held in private hands. I thought Trump pardoned him. No. Joe? What's Joe's real last name? Well, he always reminded me of Joe Dirt, but no, he didn't get pardoned. All right, question number 9. The correct answer is A as in apple, Jeffrey Dahmer. And a lot of his early development and interest in the natural world, plants and animals, was brought on and encouraged by his father. His father actually encouraged him to collect roadkill that he would be found alongside the road and bring it home and dissect it and dry out the bones and look at how the animal was actually put together. That was encouraged by Dahmer's actual father. And his father, but along with that, his father also tried to, to get him interested in, the natural world of streams and the fauna, and everything else that was around him where they lived. But Jeffrey was more interested in dissecting the dead animals that he could collect. All right, question number 10. I'm not crazy. You're the one who's crazy. I went to your churches and your learning institutions. Which killer, while in prison, made audiobook recordings? Was it A, Dahmer, B, Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? Who made audio recordings while in prison? And I used the word prison there. I should have used the word incarcerated. Left hand RN, Morgan, and Sal are all going with D. Meep D, Deanna Marie D, and Ricardo's going with C and a bunch of, was that books? Stack of books? Looks like books. I have my glasses on. Should probably put my glasses on. See if that looks like books again. Well, that looks like books. Looks like 3 books. E, Jody. I've heard of Kemper read Flowers in the Attic. The Morgan says Flowers in the Attic. Yeah. Lemon Pie's going with C, Israel Keys. Lemon Pie, the Fonz. I'm not crazy. You're the one who's crazy. I went to your churches, your learning institutions. Which killer, while in prison, instead it should be, incarcerated, made audio book recordings? And Kitty Q is going with Suicidal Tendencies, my jam. Oh, she figured out who I was referencing with the first part of that. All he wanted was a Pepsi, Kitty Q. Just one Pepsi. They wouldn't give it to him. He did it for the Books for the Blind type program, says the Morgan. The correct answer to question number 10 is, in fact, D, Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper made audio recordings while incarcerated. Now, Ed Kemper is not in prison. So technically, I should have said incarcerated and not prison, because he is in the state of California, like mental hospital. But and that's where he will be for the rest of his life. But he is serving out a prison term there. But because he has been ruled to be incompetent and able to aid in his own defense. No Pepsi, Coke. That is the first 10 questions, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for you to take a break. Take yourself a 6-minute break. Do what you need to do for the next 6 minutes. Wonder if you can buy his audiobooks. Nope, Meep. They're unless someone smuggles out the audio recording on one of the MP3 players. They're not for sale anywhere that I know of outside of the actual like jail state institution system. The Morgan said that he did the Flowers in the Attic. That is just one of the audiobooks. I think he did a total like 14 books total besides the Bible. He did parts of the Bible. He did Star Wars. He did Flowers in the Attic. He did now I'm drawing a blank on them all though. I mean, but a lot of them were by request though, and yes, it was like Meep said for the blind. Yes, break time. Do what you need to do. I'm trying to make sure I don't burn my damn studio to the ground. What a way to start the day off. Got to be more careful about when I empty my ashtray out. How about you get like a metal bucket or something instead of dumping them directly into trash can? Probably a safer idea. Juicy Jules might be behind and on the questions. Might be on top chat instead of you wouldn't know what crazy was if Charles Manson was eating Fruit Loops on your front porch. Sorry, I love suicidal tendencies. I've always liked suicidal tendencies, Kitty Q. I always wanted to, get a Pepsi for Mike and just send it to him. just one Pepsi. Just remember, Kitty Q, you can't keep me down. If he gets emotional about the honor your mother, your father parts, lol. I went to visit a friend when I came out of the whole cab was filled with smoke from the ashtray. Wow. Where was that at? I know in my state you can't Uber drivers and Lyft and cab drivers are not allowed to smoke in their vehicles. Back in the day, can't keep me down. Well, I'll stop. It's great music, Kitty Q. Ohio. Wow. Back in the day. 1 minute and 20 seconds left. 1 minute, 20 seconds counting down. One minute left. 1 minute and break is over in 1 minute. Don't smoke anymore? You don't? Tick, 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 tick. Time's a wasting away, says Reichardt. Everything in life is ticking away. We all get only a finite amount of time on this planet. None of us know when our time is up. And I hope we all live an awfully long time. Alrighty, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 11 is now on your screen. Put myself back in my little window here. Hello. Hello, everyone. I was born into a household filled in turmoil. We were dirt poor and had very little food. It didn't help that I was one of 10 children. Who is this? Is it Dahmer, Bundy, Keys, or Kemper? Jules going with B. Mr. Garlic Man. Good evening, Mr. Garlic Man, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a pleasant weekend and happy Memorial Day weekend to you and your family. Record micro will, just a little, a little window. I was born into a household filled with turmoil. We were dirt poor and had very little food. It didn't help that I was one of 10 children. Michael Jackson. Well, good, Mr. Garlic Man. Peter Brady says lemon pie. Michael Jackson says inner peas. Are there that many Jacksons? Well, I know there's 5. And then you got to count the girls. How many girls are there in the Jackson family? Are there 10 total? Because there's LaToya and Janet. That's 7. Are there more? Bill Clinton. Dirt poor and had very little food was Bill Clinton. 5 girls, says in a peas. All right. Question number 11 of 20. Born into a household filled with turmoil. We were dirt poor and had very little food. It didn't help that I was one of 10 children. The correct answer is C as in cat. And hello, Mel. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Mel. I hope you had a pleasant weekend and happy Memorial Day. He did not inhale. You remember that, Mr. Garlic? Bill tried marijuana when he was in college, but he did not inhale. Remember, that was back then, that was the controversy. That's what made or broke someone from being a president. Did they partake in marijuana? Now look at our political system. Huh? I have dementia and I'm running for president. I've had multiple affairs and screwed the government and stole documents. I'm running for president. That's where we're at now. Holy shit, what happened to our system? I guess that's what we get since we only wanted a 2-party system. Hello, Mr. Anonymous. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Mr. Anonymous. All right, question 11 again was Israel Keys. Israel Keys was one of 10 children born into extreme poverty. They didn't even really have an actual physical home when they were part of the FDL, the fundamentalist Christian movement, when him and his family lived there. And they had nothing. And if it wasn't for other members, giving them food and things that they needed, they would have had nothing at all. All their clothing and food and everything was given to them. because that's how the fundamentalist movement was going at that time. And in case you're wondering, on a side note, the same fundamentalist Christian movement is an offshoot that they belong to, that Israel Keys and his family belonged to at that time before they left, is the same fundamentalist movement that the Duggar family lives in and under to this day. That same type of fundamentalist Christian movement. I have to look him up. I did not inhale any air on Epstein's Island, and only Hillary got off the plane. Oh, that's funny, Cement Shoes. Question number 12. More than one of us kept treasures in barrels and buckets, yet only one of us kept our hunting kits in barrels and buckets. Which one am I? Is it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? Josh Duggar is a monster. There's a lot more pedophiles within the actual church that Josh Duggar and his family attend, and it starts right at the top. Bill Goffhart, one of the founding members of the church that they all belong to, is a pedophile, and that's just the nicest thing I can say about Bill Goffhart. But that's what the Duggars believe in, and that's what they follow. They had a revolving religion. They tried everything but Scientology, pretty much. More than one of us kept our treasures in barrels and buckets, yet only one of us kept our hunting kits in barrels and buckets. Which one am I? I don't get the question. Question number 12. Oh, Joshy Pedo, right? The Duggar is the spawn of Satan. And what I always wondered, Cement Shoes, is just how much did TLC, Discovery Channel, and all of them, how much did they know about the Duggar family before they started the TV series? Of what, Counting On, the second one, or the original. How much did they know about them? They had to have vetted them at some point. And it's not a secret of what's been going on in that church for so long, but yet they still decided to put them on national TV. It just blows my mind. When the police asked to come in, Josh Duggar makes a joke saying, "What do you think is on my computer? Kitty corn?" And that's how they knew he had done what he had done. Was Pat Robertson part of TLC? Pat Robertson has always been on his own Christian channel, the church channel, isn't he? I don't think he's ever done anything off of that. So I'm going to have to go with no on that record. Pat Robertson. But I don't remember what the church channel that he's been on, what it's called. But Rituals, Extremists, and Zealous often deal in pedophilia. Question number 12. The correct answer is C as in cat, Israel Keys. So you might be wondering, who else besides Israel Keys kept their treasures in buckets and barrels? Well, Dahmer kept his treasures in buckets and barrels, and so did Ed Kemper. The three of them kept their treasures and their kill kit, well, their treasures in barrels and buckets. But Israel Keys across America kept what he called kill kits, basically gloves, rope, duct tape, a weapon, and he buried them in 5-gallon buckets across America. And I still think that we all ought to try to track down the clues to where the kill kits were buried at and go and see if we can find some, because they didn't go out and dig them all up. And he wouldn't tell everybody. And then we all know he dispatched himself. The Christian Broadcast Network. Thank you, Mr. Garlic Man. The Christian Broadcast, CBN, is the Christian network where Pat Robertson has always been. Colonel Sanders kept his treasures in barrels and buckets. It's good, inner peace. Question number 13. Growing up, I was what some called a goofy teen. I loved the attention, but not so much for laughs. I just wanted someone desperately to see me and my pain. Who was this? Was it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? I think Counting On started after they canceled the original because of what Duggar did. The Morgan, they actually, so they did the 16 and Counting, the original one, and then Counting On came right afterwards. And right in there is what, obviously, when the Duggar, Josh Duggar thing came about. But they also went back and they filmed 3 specials afterwards, with the Duggar family afterwards. I think only 1 or 2 of those 3 that they're like hour-long specials that they were planning on releasing. They filmed more. And then later on, after Josh Duggar was convicted and sentenced, they pulled permits to do even more filming with the Duggar family and extended members later on. Now, you have to forgive me for not knowing, not following up on it, but at that time I was following it, and I know that they pulled the permits and who had actually, the permits names were in and what they planned on, where they planned on filming at, but I haven't followed it in so long. Fun fact: Sanders unalived a man in real life before he became famous for making chicken. Unalive, huh? I did not know that. Inner Peace is going with Greg Brady. Oh my God. Anything for money? That's true. That's true. But, at the same time, if people don't watch it, they won't make it. And the allegations against Josh Duggar were well known even before they ever filmed the very first episode. Former members of the church knew about, his molestation of his sister and their friends. That was well known before they ever filmed the very first episode of 16 and Counting, or whatever the hell it was originally. And then the next series, Counting On. They knew all about that stuff. They had to. Everybody knew about it. It was all over the internet from former members of the church who had left, but they still did it. A barrel of monkeys. They got into a fight. Oh, wow. Growing up, I was what some called a goofy teen. I loved attention, but not so much for the laughs. I just wanted someone to desperately see me and my pain. The correct answer to question number 13, ladies and gentlemen, is A, as in apple, Jeffrey Dahmer. There are countless stories that people who went to high school and elementary school and middle school and high school with Jeffrey, and some of them would, made it into the reenactment, the TV specials and stuff like that, about where he would throw himself on the ground and act like he was having a seizure. Other times he would just walk into like the library or the cafeteria and just throw all of his papers up in the air, and just to see if anybody would pay attention to him. It got so old for the people who knew him and the administration, everybody else, they just stopped really paying attention to him. But later on, Jeffrey Dahmer, after he was arrested, said that he was desperate at times for people to just wanted to look at him. He wanted people to pay attention to him, not for so much for the laugh, but he was crying out. It was like him emotionally trying to do it. He didn't actually say that part, but he tried to beat around the point where it was an emotional outcry for him. But question number 14. Quick question. Of the four of us, I have the highest IQ, and I am the only one who killed my actual family members. Who am I? Am I A, Dahmer, B, Bundy, C, Keys, or D, Kemper? All of his 16 victims and counting. Disgusting show. He played the clown in Class. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer definitely played the clown. That's what a lot of people, especially after he was convicted, and they found out what the hell was in his apartment and what he was doing. There was a lot of people that were really surprised by that. They thought, that Jeffrey had a bright future ahead of him. That he was going to, but they never suspected anything like that at all. There's some interviews you can watch on YouTube with former classmates of his. Lemon Pie is going with B. He was saying, pay attention to me. Yes, he was. Of the four of us, I have the highest IQ, and I'm the only one to kill my actual family members. Lemon Pie is going with B. Gianna Marie is going with D. Interpedes. E. Barry freaking Morphew. Barry Morphew allegedly killed his family member, Suzanne. Lemon Pie. Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. They had a police officer open the fridge and there was a human head in it. He's seen. He kept more than just a human head in the refrigerator and freezer. Kept the genitalia from one of his victims. Kept the head of his favorite victim in the fridge. In the freezer, he had the hair, like scalp of another. In the actual bathtub in the shower, he ran out of room to actually store his victims, so he showered standing over this victim, where the victim's head was towards the drain and his feet were towards the end of the bathtub. He stood over him and showered every day because he had no place else to put victims. What family member did Ted Bundy kill? He ate the muscle from a victim and used a meat tenderizer. Oh, the Morgan. Yeah, Chad Daybell. He's on trial for killing his family member too, his wife. His legal wife, I should add, Tammy Daybell. Bundy was no genius. All right, question number 14. The correct answer is D as in dog. Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper, of the four men, Ed Kemper has never completed one IQ test. He has completed parts of two. If you combine them both together, and for the parts that he did do from both of them, He has the highest IQ. His IQ would be close to genius level. And he is also the only one of the four who actually killed members of his own family. He killed his biological paternal grandmother and grandfather, got sent to the state California mental hospital for killing both of them, and then he lied after memorizing the test to find out if he was mentally, cured to be released to the public. He memorized it, passed the test, and was released in short order thereafter, and then went right back out and started killing co-eds, kidnapping, raping, and murdering co-eds. And his last crime, he killed his mother and decapitated her. She was the last victim of his. And then he simply went and got himself an ice cream cone and called his friend, who was a detective with the local police department, and told him what he did and said he would wait for him there. Instead of running or trying to hide or go anywhere else, he just waited there and ate his ice cream cone. Question number 15. How many bites does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? I don't know. I do know how many it takes to get to the thigh bone, though. Who am I? Am I A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? Kemper killed his grandparents when he was 15. Yes, he was. Very interesting, how that actually played out. Killed his grandmother first, and then waited for his grandfather to come home, and then shot and killed him. And it kind of weird, but think about it though. I mean, they did raise this is his mother's parents that he killed, but his rage and everything was centered at his mother. She was cruel, extremely cruel to Ed growing up his entire life. She kept him underneath his thumb. I always find Ed Kemper to be the most interesting of, definitely of these four. Tootsie Roll Pop. Owl. Dahmer just thought they looked cooler that way. Do you think Chris Watts will ever get out if they review his case again? Mr. Garlic Man, Christopher Watts has zero chance of ever being released from prison. They will never review his case. There are only two grounds for Christopher Watts to ever gain any type of appeal, and they are the following. One, they made a grievous error against him in judgment of his actual sentencing and of time to be served. Two, the only other option is if there is medical malpractice, not medical, but legal malpractice, that the attorney did not do anything to aid in his actual defense or in the plea agreement that he actually signed. Those are his only rights to appeal. And underneath those two grounds, if there was ever anything that was wrong, even a first year law student would have seen it by now and been screaming from the mountaintops that there is an avenue for an appeal or anything for Christopher Watts. Once he killed his mother, he was done with murdering people. Sort of. I mean, Kemper said, once he was incarcerated in the first interview he gave, he said if he was ever released at any point in time at all, that he would go right back to killing people again. And it doesn't matter if they released him then, when he was in his 50s, or if they released him when he's in his 90s. He's going to kill again if they ever release him. He knows that. He can't stop. But he was friends with the law enforcement. And he hung out with them at the bar. It was it called the Cuffs or Cuff or something like that. It was a bar that law enforcement agents went to, and they hung out, in their off time. And he became buddies with a lot of them, drinking buddies. But he would have kept on killing. But he decided that after he killed his mother, he just wanted to tell his friend. What about if they found out the DA won't allow a full investigation? There is no investigation to ever be had, Mr. Garlic, in regards to Christopher Watts. Doesn't matter if the DA was biased against him and that the judge was biased against him. Everything was passed by the law, and he took the plea deal. And by taking that plea deal, everything ended that day. The moment he signed it and he actually confessed to the crime in court on the record, everything stopped for Christopher Watts. I have studied that case immensely. I know exactly what his options are, and to the T. All right, question number 15. I'm not sure if I answered this or not, but the correct answer was A, Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm sorry for going on these tangents, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 16. I escaped from jail twice, went on the run, and killed even more. If I wasn't sitting outside that house that morning, I would have claimed dozens more lives. Who am I? Am I A, Dahmer, B, Bundy, C, Keyes, or D, Ed Kemper? Wanted to be a cop, too tall. They actually, Morgan, they said it wasn't just he was too tall, he was too big. And they did not have a standard cadet uniform that fit him. So they didn't want to make even that small adjustment for him. Because remember, even when Kemper applied to become a cop, they wouldn't allow him because that was what they said. But they didn't, because his first murders of his grandparents happened as a juvenile. That record was sealed as because it was a juvenile conviction. They would have eventually found out. He never really was going to become a cop. He might have been sent off to the academy. He could have got more training. He could have come close to being a cop, but they would eventually found out that he killed his grandparents. So Kemper is 6'7". He is a big man. A big man. I escaped from jail twice and went on the run and killed even more. If I wasn't sitting outside that house that morning, I would have claimed more lives. Who am I? Question number 16. The correct answer is B as in boy, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy. The officer walked up to him and knew that there was something wrong with this man where he was waiting outside of that home and sitting in the car. He just knew it. His instinct or whatever said that this is something definitely wrong with this situation. He wasn't there waiting for someone. All right, question number 17. Die, my darling. I made a rookie mistake of parking my car where it was seen on CCTV. That led to my arrest. Maybe in my next life, I'll get it right. Who am I? Is it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, Ted Bundy, C, Israel Keyes, or D, Ed Kemper? I think he dipped the scale at over 300 pounds when he did his interview, Meep. I don't know how big he was when he was arrested, but he was around there. 6'7", 6'9". He's pretty big. If Bundy had escaped a third time, he would have killed even more women. Yeah? Just remember, at the same time, though, I mean, I can't think of anybody else who's ever fathered a child, while they were actually incarcerated. A serial killer, I mean, that is. I mean, it might have happened at a place that has conjugal visits, but Ted Bundy, he has a daughter named Rose. He fathered from behind bars. He's waiting for Barry Morphew to be arrested. Die, 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 my darling. I made a rookie mistake of parking my car where it was seen on CCTV. That led to my arrest. Maybe in my next life, I'll get it right. Bundy's sister was actually his mother. Yeah, well, he thought that it was his sister. Bundy's sister. Bundy growing up thought that his sister, that person was his sister, but it was his biological and birth mother. That is true, Mr. Garlic Man. The misfits are killing me. Yeah, Kitty Q got another one. I'm not sure, and this one says Mel. Question number 17 of 20. All right, the correct answer for question number 17 is C as in cat, Israel Keys. His last victim. He sent a ransom. First, he sent a message and in a call and said that that he was holding his last victim for ransom, and that he wanted $30,000, I think it was, deposited into her bank account. Her bank account, not another bank account or a cash drop in a park or something, but $30,000 deposited into her bank account. And then he pulled up at the bank and used her ATM card and was caught on CCTV. The plate number was caught on CCTV. The picture from the actual ATM was not clear enough, but the CCTV on the outside of the bank definitely caught a clear view of the actual plate. Then Israel Keys went to the next town over and withdrew even more money, but they had the information from the plate and they knew who he was, even though he tried to disguise himself when he went up to the ATM. Because he didn't disguise himself in the car as he pulled in, and so they got a good picture from the side, and they got a picture of the back of the car with a license plate, and that is how he got caught. See, that's why I wasn't. I thought that it might be Bundy, but nope, it was Keys. All right, question number 18. I'm the only one of us four perverts here today that actually had a run-in with a real-life mountain lion outside of Juneau, Alaska. Who is it? Is it A, Dahmer, B, Bundy, C, Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? I used to think CCTV was only in North Korea. Boy, was I wrong. It's become one of those things, right, Carter? I'm sure you're probably on a lot of them nowadays. I mean, every truck stop, ATM, gas station, everywhere there. It's everywhere now. And some cities even have put them up on poles, and in higher crime areas or at traffic lights. They're everywhere. Tomato. Mountain lion. Barry Morphew's shadow. Of the four of them, this is the only one who had a real life run-in with a mountain lion. Who is it? outside of Juneau, Alaska. Drones are just filming us as well. Oh, yeah, they are. They're everywhere. They have ones that are run by the police department, not counting all the people, out there who are, flying them private. Some places you have to have an actual drone license, though. And I don't see the forest through the trees. Gone girl! Hey, how you doing, sweetheart? Welcome to trivia. I hope that you are doing as well as you can, sweetheart. And happy, Memorial Day. Well, it is here in America. It's Memorial Day weekend for Americans. I'm the only one of us four perverts here today that actually had a run-in in real life with a mountain lion outside of Juneau, Alaska. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Israel Keys. C as in cat, Israel Keys. To tell you about the circumstances behind that. Okay, according to Israel Keys, so Israel Keys had two pickup trucks. One that he used for work because he owned his own construction and handyman repair business. But he whenever he went hunting on one of these, hunting not for deer or for moose or for elk or anything else, he went hunting for humans, and he would drive long distances as part of that. It was not uncommon, according to him, to drive 100 miles, 200 miles to try to find the next victim. Well, he was pulled into an area that he had set up where he had his other pickup truck and other construction equipment parked, and it's in Juneau, Alaska, in a somewhat rural area. Because not that Juneau, Alaska is like really open. It's very forested area around Juneau. But he was like going from one vehicle to another pickup truck, and he had a real life run-in with a mountain lion. He said the mountain lion was between the truck and his actual construction trailer when he pulled in, and he didn't see it right away until he stepped out of the one truck to get into the other one. But he's the only one of the four who had a real life run-in with a mountain lion. As cement shoes will point out to everyone, there are very few people who have been killed by mountain lions. Mountain lion attacks are very rare, and they're more afraid of us than and likewise that we are of them. But they do happen. Mountain lion attacks do happen, but they're very rare. All right, question number 19. I am only one of us four perverts here today that has the largest confirmed body count, kill count of over 20. I was skillful at my job. They can't say the same for these other guys. Who has the kill count over 20? Was it Dahmer, Bundy, Keys, or Kemper? Question number 19. Anyone else working Memorial Day besides me? I am. I'm working right now. I guess technically the Morgan. Gacy. Gacy definitely. Gacy has a body count over 20. Because Sal's going with B, Lemon Pie, and Rycar all going with B. Garlic Man, 33 buys. Not me. Off for the summer, says Interpeas. 6 people killed since 1900 or some such. Yep. I knew Cement Shoes knew just how rare mountain lion attacks are. I've been to one area of my life and caught a mountain lion on my trail cam. I was outside of Goldendale, Washington. The game warden there swore up and down there was no way that there were mountain lions in that area. And then I showed him my trail cam video and pictures, and he's like, "Oh my God, there is a trail cam here." Of course, he also said the same thing about wild boars. There are no wild boars in the Columbia Gorge until we showed him pictures of them. And they're like, "Oh my." I worked at Wally World, so no choice, says the Morgan. Thought Bundy killed hundreds. Certainly sounds that way if you read the internet. Go to the internet. Kitty Coo's going with E. Hugo got them all beat. I used to have the exact statistics on my old phone. E in a van down by the river. I am the only one of us four perverts here today that has a largest body count. I gave you this answer earlier. Who is it? The correct answer is B as in boy, Ted Bundy. 30 plus victims. Ted Bundy. It has the highest body count of them all. Question number 20 of 20. I am very flattered that I made another trivia night. Please don't forget me in the future. I am the only veteran of the group of perverts. Who am I? Of the four that you see here, who is the only veteran? Is it A, Dahmer, B, Bundy, C, Keys, or D, Ed Kemper? Who is the only veteran on this Memorial Day weekend of trivia? Yeah, I'm on murderous roll here. Bundy got caught because he went. Jeez, I was reading that. Come back here. Come back here. Question. Got caught because he went to Florida. If he did not go to Florida, he probably never would have got caught. I mean, that's an excellent point. But I would go with also additionally, Mr. Garlic Man, the outrage over the age of his final victim definitely spiked a lot more interest in some college student. When you're killing college students, people are like, "Oh, they're saddened and they're looking out for the person who may have done that." But it's the outrage when you kill a teenager, or someone even younger, it really incites people, and they really want to get to the bottom of who the hell's doing it. So I think that played into it as well. I think Bundy would have gotten caught eventually, even if he went to Florida or if he went to Ohio or he left the United States. I think he would have eventually gotten caught, but probably not as fast. I'll say that. Well, I once was a bicycle riding Carlsbad, New Mexico, and I saw a mountain lion from a distance, and just stopped on my bike and screamed very loud, and the mountain lion ran away. Gomer Pyle. Gomer Pyle. Aren't they remaking that lemon pie? I thought I saw something online about they're remaking Gomer Pyle, the show. Obviously, it's not going to have Jim Neighbors in it anymore, but I thought I saw something online about they were going to remake, the TV series Gomer Pyle. Because the teeth marks, isn't that amazing, Gianna Marie, about the teeth marks and the doctor, the orthodontologist, whatever he was discredited later on, and no longer can they use bite mark analysis in any case, state or federal in the U.S. Bite mark analysis is now considered basically junk science. But it was enough to to be another piece of evidence against Bundy. I'm very flattered that I've made another trivia night. Please don't forget me in the future. I'm the only veteran of this group of perverts. Who am I? Jim Neighbors is the one and only Gomer Pyle. Yeah. Or hey, I like Jim Neighbors as uh, not only Gomer Pyle, but he was also on Andy Griffin show, and he was Toby Gillis, and that was another great show that he was on as well. But the only one of these four that is an actual veteran was Israel Keys. Israel Keys was a veteran. That is the 20 questions for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is an optional. You do not have to give yourself a letter grade on how many you got correct. Some people like to do it, some people don't. It's completely optional. But don't forget, we also have the cold case file after this. There is only one tonight. But you can give yourself a letter grade if you want, but remember, we're only playing for fun and entertainment. Some people like to keep score, some people don't. Of the 20 questions that was on tonight's trivia, I knew 17 of the 20, 17 of the 20 before putting this trivia night together. So I would have definitely gotten an A for the first time in a while. I've been teetering around the C mark for a while, but I knew 17 of these 20. F. Loser Lion Tamers is inner peas. Oh, there's no losers here. We're only playing for fun. So Morgan, 2 wrong there. 2. Pretty good. Shouldn't be junk science, says Meep to Mel. Meep is D. Meep, I think you might be on top chat or delayed a little. F. Freaking Barry Mountain Lion Morphew. The only 3 that I didn't know were number 12, of which ones of the individuals kept their items in buckets and barrels. I mean, obviously I knew about Israel Keys and Jeffrey Dahmer, but I did not know that Ed Kemper kept a plastic bucket in his car in the trunk that he kept all of his murder things in, his gloves and plastic bags and stuff like that in the trunk of his car, a small little plastic bucket. But those 3 are the ones that kept the items in buckets and barrels. Obviously, Dahmer did because the victims were put in barrels, and Kemper Keys kept the murder kits. But I didn't know about the Kemper one. That was number 12, and number 2. Always Morphew, never a bride. I got them all right. But second guess for the last question, hand orange covering eyes, no notes. That's pretty good. All right, here's our cold case file tonight. Larry Bob Robert Ballard Jr. has been missing since 4/27/23 from Douglas Glassville, Texas. He is listed as endangered. No one knows what happened to Douglas, to Larry Bob Robert. Bob is his nickname. That's why it's in quotes. Robert Ballard Jr. He is 5'9" to 150 to 160 pounds and wears corrective eyeglasses. And as in the picture on the left with him in a black cowboy hat, you can see he smiles with a slight slant to his mouth. No, this is not because he had a stroke. It's just something that apparently that he's always done as a child through adulthood. He's always kind of just smiled that way with a little bit of a slant to one side of his mouth when he smiles. But Again, he's been missing since 4/27 of 23. Little over a year. If you can help, you can call the Cass County Sheriff's Department. This case was recommended to us by a viewer who I did not see in the chat tonight, but maybe they were here and just listening along, because a lot of people do that. Who is from the area where Larry disappeared. Additional information that you seen on the screen came from Name Us and ABC Channel 7 News. Thank you, everyone, for playing trivia tonight. Looks like my grandmother. You'll look out for him, Rockhart. All right. Here are the details around the disappearance. Ballard left home on April 26, 2023, saying he was going to the feed store to buy feed for his horses that day, and never returned home. His wife tried calling him and got no answer. She believed he might have been off, tipping back a couple with his friends, so she kind of let it go. At 2 p.m. the next day, Ballard called his family and said he had gotten his truck stuck in mud on County Road 2116 off of 2118 in Douglas, Glassville, Texas. His brother-in-law went to the area to help him get his truck unstuck, but found the truck a shambles. Everything, it looked like somebody had gone through the truck itself. And that the doors, both the driver's door and the passenger door, were open. But the truck was also found to be inoperable before it ever got into that mud hole. Why he would come up with this story, we don't know. And that's where everything they're trying to piece the puzzle together. Did he walk away? Did somebody come by and offer him a ride and, he disappeared? But he has had a history of, according to family members, of substance abuse issues in the past, but he has never disappeared for this long of a period of time. There were no tracks that law enforcement could find leading away, and they did bring a dog there to try to track him, in case he did walk away from this area, and there was no scent that led away from the vehicle in any direction at all that showed that he walked away from his truck. Somebody may have come upon the truck later on and ransacked it and took whatever they could find in it of value, but no one knows exactly what happened. Again, you can the number was on the screen for the Cass County Sheriff's Department. Well, thank you, Morgan, for being here. I am glad you had fun. And Mel, you make murder and murderers entertaining. Well, I try to. I've got other things that are coming up that as we get back into the swing of this, other things that I'm going to add to trivia night to make it more entertaining or more visually appealing, I guess you could say, easier to follow along. But you gotta change things if you want things to ever grow. Good night, Gianna Marie, and thank you again for being here with us. I hope you have a great week ahead. Those FM roads are rough. Farm to market roads. Yeah, pretty much. pretty much not much. I remember most of the farming roads, in and around, where I grew up in Wisconsin. You know, basically they just look like two tire tracks going from one point to another. They may go crisscross or cross or run parallel to another county road, but Will, who is the little picture in the corner? That's me. It's a copy of a press pass for the Associated Press. It's a duplicate that I from 2020. This is a book. Trying to think what else. These are coffee mugs that I used to sell. That's Colonel Sanders. Lower right. Lower right. All right, so this is my right hand. So you're talking about over here on this side. Back there on the white thing, that's a dinosaur hand puppet. I don't see any other ones lower right. No, on the screen. All right, so you're talking about this side. This is my cup. Moving forward, there's no pictures on the table here. I do a screenshot and send it. I'll do a screenshot. Talking about these record albums. This is one of my newest collections. This is the Rockettes Make That Move record album. 80s pop rock, more popish. That one is. This is Liberty or Death, but that's not obviously. I'm just trying to think about all the things that are in the picture here. Oh well. I really enjoy spending time with this gang of misfits. Well, thank you, Mel. I'm glad you have fun, being here with us. I appreciate all your content and love the Sundays. Well, thank you. Love the Rockets. Love and Rockets. The band Love and Rockets. I have Love and Rockets down here. So you see the files right here, but the next shelf down is 80s music. I got everything from Pretty in Pink soundtrack to I got Love and Rockets down there. Rockettes. Rock Cats. Look at that. Look at that hair, those hairstyles. I got a little bit of everything when it comes to LPs. Got classical, blues, punk, country, heavy metal. You name it. I've got a little bit of everything. I enjoy music and I find value in all types of music. I really do. Always have. I've got everything in country from, Glenn Campbell, huge collection, Johnny Cash, and yesterday I was listening to Motley Crue. And I know it's dusty. And then Johnny Cash, The Walls of Prison. I was listening to those two yesterday. I sent a screenshot to your email. All right. Pulling it up. All right. Screenshot. Who's that? Oh. Oh, okay. You're talking about that's the you're supposed so most creators interpees that is where you would normally see it says subscribe. That is the guy from Poltergeist, the preacher who comes and talks to Caroline in Poltergeist. That's who that picture is from the movie. I don't use a subscribe button because I look at YouTube, and this is going to give you an overview of it all. I don't like it when I watch content and people are constantly over and over again saying, "Hey, here's my Venmo. Here is my PayPal. Send me a super chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Click on that bell icon." That drives me personally nuts. Put it if you want. You got to put it in there. You got to remind people of it. So I don't use an actual subscribe. I use that picture of the preacher from Poltergeist. And if you click on it, and if you're not a subscriber, it will bring you to subscribe. But that's who that is. And I don't remember what the character or the guy's name is. I always looked at him, and to me he reminded me of the Crypt Keeper. The one that went. Well, Kitikyu means the image of the square at the top left corner. Up here. This where it says Restream. Restream is the name of the software. Left, so over here, over there, top. Yeah, all right. I'm not there, but there. That is one of those QR code things for buy me a coffee is what it says. I can't get rid of it. It's part of the actual subscription level of Restream that I pay for. If I upgrade it, I can take that away. But if you scan it with your phone, supposedly it'll take you to PayPal and you can buy me a coffee. But I can't get rid of it. But if I pay for the middle tier of subscription, so there's a Restream has a free service, then they have a middle tier, and then they have what's called GoPro, not like GoPro, like as in the actual camera, but GoPro or the pro level. And with the pro level, I can get rid of the Restream right here, and I can put a logo there. I used to, but I didn't find that feature useful. And I can get rid of the buy me a coffee. Some people do. I think I've had 3 or 4 people who bought me a cup of coffee, but I can't get rid of it. It's always there until I decide I want to drop another $100 and some bucks a month. I mean, for a year, 100 some. I think it's like 176 with tax. Because I mean, Uncle Sam has got to get his share. But you get other features, but there's no features that I want to use. I could use I thought about like putting like dancing like teddy bears across the screen. But then people would start thinking that I was a Grateful Dead fan or something, which is kind of cool. I mean, I like the rainbow teddy bears dancing. That's kind of cool. Is it buffering for you right now? Yeah, we're getting there. It starts to buffer right around the 2 hour mark. It always does. It's probably on my end, Kitty Q, if it's buffering. Hour left. You're right. Well, I mean, so the square, so the one that Inner Peas took a picture of is the little square of the guy in the black hat who's down here. That's the guy, the preacher from Poltergeist. You're stuck with it, Will, whether you like it or not. LOL. Yeah. I mean, I could go to, so like up on the corner here where it says Restream. If you're on Streamlab or the other one, you get a picture of a stupid duck here and then the name of the company. I took their actual Restreams logo out, but I can't get rid of the name. It's a watermark over the top of it, just like the Buy My Coffee thing that's over here. See, I was right. It's a code for sorts. Now I know it's a QR code. It is. It is a QR code that I can't get rid of. It's going to be there until I pay for the next level of subscription. Because if you go with the free service, it's there. Or if you pay with the medium, it's there. The only way to actually change all this, like right now, I mean, you see the blue and the yellow for the flag for Ukraine. I had to think of the word flag. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word flag there for a minute. It was like brain farts, like Ukraine. What is it from Ukraine? The flag colors for Ukraine. I mean, I could change that out to like a million other things, but I keep that anyways because, well, it's important to me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that everyone had fun, and I hope that everyone has a week, pleasant week ahead, and you all are able to stay safe. And tomorrow for Memorial Day, if you have any friends or family, or if you yourself served, armed services, I want to thank you. I know it's not Veterans Day, but Memorial Day. Be thankful for who is willing to stand up and defend this country in the past, and that goes for other people, not just for who was in the armed services. Let's not forget that there are people out there who served, in the front lines, in national pandemic, fire department, nurses, doctors, teachers who were out there who put themselves in the line to make sure the society still moved forward and risked it all, willing to stand up, when called upon. And some who did and weren't called upon, but did it anyways. But thank you, everyone. I hope that everyone has a wonderful week ahead, and I will hope to see you again next Saturday. For coffee brew and for trivia night on Sunday. We do these every single Sunday and every single Saturday. And thank you again, everyone. Bye.